Hey, Shalom, Shalom. I want to start off as always by giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, El Shah, B'Shem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS and honors to brothers in the work of the Most High in truth and in sincerity. It's a quick one. I came across this on the internet, and it's basically more proof into why you can't go off of the English when you're reading these scriptures. You've got to go into the Hebrew and into the Greek, right? Because that's the what the manuscripts that we have, right? And they are obviously the Hebrew. That's the purest that you're gonna get, right? But when you're reading things in the English, man, the English is a bastard tongue. I'm gonna give you some examples, right? Right, so you see this there. It says the bandage, number one, the bandage was wound around the wound. Right, but you read that spelt in exactly the same way. Right, the farm was cultivated to produce produce. Right, so then you read in that, you're reading the farm was cultivated to produce. It's like, what the hell is this this weirdness going on here? Right, we must polish the Polish furniture shown at the store. He could lead if you would get the lead out. Right, the soldier decided to desert his tasty dessert in the desert. Since there is no time like the present, he thought it was time to present the present to his girlfriend. Right? So that there on number 7, you see you've got 3 different uses of the word present, right, to mean 3 different things. Right now, this is some old bullshit. Right, excuse my French. Right, when you reading that, you're like, yo, what the, what is going on? But once again, you can read all of them, pause it and read the rest, right? And hey, some of them get tricky. Like number 14, the buck does funny things when the does are present, right? So the does and the does. If you don't know what a doe is, you're gonna say the buck does funny things when the does are present. You're like, what? Okay, so enough of that. We go into the scriptures, right? This is a prologue of Sirach a bit further down, right? It says, for the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated in another tongue, into another tongue, have not the same force in them, right? And not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language, right? So you think about John 3:16, the one of the first ones you kind of start getting a breakdown of when you come into this truth, right? For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, right? So then you're thinking, oh well, that's everyone then, right? But that's just not what it is. When you read that scripture and when you go into the root words there, the word there for world is cosmos, right? Which basically means a particular sect, right? A group of people basically, right? And to make things even more interesting, you then read John 17:9, right, which says, I pray not for them, right? So I pray not for the world. I pray for them that thou hast given me, right? So then you put those 2 scriptures side by side, and you have an atheist. See, Jesus just contradicted himself, and I use that name because obviously these atheists don't know the true name of our Lord, which his true name is Yahweh Shah. Because once again, that's why you have to go into them root words, into the Hebrew and the Greek, to actually get the true names and the true understanding of everything. Okay. So what was going into? Yeah, but the word there for world, right, in John 17:9 is also cosmos. So what was Yahweh Shah saying there? He was saying, look, I don't even pray for all Israel, right? I'm praying for the elect, which the Lord Yahweh hath given him. Okay, so that's why we need to be going into these root words. Right, it's Revelation 1:3. It says, blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. Right, now bring this one up, because when you look into this word here, readeth, right, you go into the root words, it basically means blessed is he that understands. Right, when you're just reading the scriptures in the English or whatever, what have you, you haven't got the full understanding of the scriptures. Right, you haven't got the full understanding of the scriptures. Why? Because there are certain things that look like a contradiction. There are certain things that don't make sense until you go into the root words. Okay, the one what you call I'm thinking of now is, I forget where it is, but I believe it's in Job, where it's basically talking about and the wicked. Right, and that was I believe it's like a mistranslation, but in that instance, actually referring to Israelites. I believe that's in Job 20, right? But if you don't go into the root words, you'll get the wrong understanding of that precept, and you'll be like, oh, you see, the wicked, no, it ain't all bad for the wicked, whatever. But not talking about something different. Well, obviously, I gave the example of John 3:16. It's important to go into those root words, into the into the Greek and into the Hebrew, because at the end of the day, that's what our people spoke, right? That's what we spoke. Okay, we read about the account in Acts. In fact, let's grab it. Acts 26th chapter, and the Hebrew. I forgot that. I think the apostle said. I don't know where that's coming from. So it's Acts 26:14. It says, and when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me and saying in the Hebrew tongue, right? And then look what's written. It's written in red right now. It says, Saul, why persecutest thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. So it's written in red, meaning what? Meaning that this is Yahushua speaking. And Paul is understanding why. Because they are both Hebrews, right? So they spoke Hebrew, right? Okay, so then we continue on. It's the 2 Timothy 2:15. Right, study to show thyself approved to the Most High, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Once again, in this, bring this one out also as a coupling to Revelation 1 and 3 about understanding the scriptures, right, and going into them, right, and then studying. When part of that studying is going into those root words, so that you can get understanding. And in fact, because of the times we're in, right, we gotta, if we don't go into the root words in these scriptures, then that's how you end up having a wrong understanding of what the mark of the beast is. Revelation 13:16, and he calleth all, right, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, right? So this literally meaning everybody, right? Esau's going to put this mark of the beast upon everybody. He's going to force it upon everyone, right? Right now, there's all discussions about whether this serum is going to be mandatory or not, whatever, what have you, right? But when it comes to this mark of the beast, the scriptures is saying, look, it is going to be mandatory, right? He's gonna find a way to run his witchcraft on the people so that they are consenting, right, to this. Okay, it says both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. When you look into the word mark, karagba, right, a stamp, an imprinted mark, right, thin carved sculpture, graven work of idolatrous images, right. So literally, this is talking about things that are something that is going to be inserted in you, man, right? That's what, when you can go even further into all of the root words, and then you actually see just that what that word there, mark, is basically something that is going to be stuck in you, right? Which is how we know it's that mark of the beast, the RFID microchip, okay? Because without it, that's going to be your identification, right? Just like now in the UK, if you haven't got certain legal documents, you can't get a job. Why? Because that job will be fined if what do you call it? If they find out that you ain't got the correct documentation. You can't move into anywhere. Why? Because once again, you have to prove your visa status before you what do you call it? Before you can move into anywhere. It doesn't matter how English you sound, right? You still got to bring out that burgundy passport, right? Or whatever visa that you're on, proving that you have the right to live in the UK, right? So this mark of the beast, that's one of its roles. It's gonna be an ID, right? But it's also gonna be a means of payment. It only makes sense, right? Because right now, what you've got, you've got your bank card, right? You've got your, let's say you might have your NatWest bank card and your Barclays bank and your Monzo bank, right? Why have three when you can just have one, right? Why have all of these different cards, especially when he's trying to push this whole thing about plastic is the devil, right? Which plastic, that thing there is wicked, man. Right, the way, like, it's just going around all polluting the whole earth, right? You got animals in the ocean all fucked up from this plastic and shit, right? But let me carry on. It says, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right, so we carry on. This is Job 8 and 8. For inquire, I pray thee, of former age, and prepare thyself to search with their fathers. Right, I'll grab this one out because when we inquire of the former age, when we look at our forefathers, right, what were they speaking? They were speaking the Hebrew, right? Once again, going into this idea of like, look, man, that's what they were speaking. So when we're looking at these scriptures, we ain't really supposed to be all kind of like just only looking at them from the English, because our forefathers, when they wrote these things, they didn't write them in the English, right? They didn't write them in the English, and this also helps to understand some of the analogies that were used, right? When the scriptures speak of arrows, for instance, they had no understanding of what ICBM is. That was beyond. I mean, that's like me trying to ask you to describe something that hasn't even happened yet. That doesn't even. That's like us trying to describe the kingdom, right? We'll be able to say, "Oh, it's going to be like this and the other," but there are certain things in the kingdom that we just right now have no. We can't put into words, right? Just like how in the ancient world, our forefathers didn't have certain words for a nuclear missile because it didn't those things didn't exist back there, right? A glittering sword, for instance, right? That's why they called it an arrow. Okay. And I'll end on this 7:9, 3 and 9. For then will I turn the people a pure language, right? Once again, that's that heat in the Hebrew, right? Right, the Lashon, Kodash, Lashon, a tongue, Kodash, holy. You can also say the Lashon Tahar, which is Tahar meaning pure, right? It says for then well, in fact, in this case it will be the Lashon Tahar. Right, for then I will turn the people. All right, for then will I turn to the people a Lashon Tahar, right, that they may call upon the name of Yahweh to serve him with one consent, right? So in the kingdom we're all going to be speaking Hebrew. When the Hebrews simple, man, it ain't like this bastard tongue as I've shown you the examples here, right? I look at 19. I had to subject the subject. I had to subject the subject to a series of tests, right? It's a bastard ass tongue, man, right? So as always, I was edified. Until next time, we say shalom.